Hello, Miss Rodriguez. I'm coming to you today with my speech. I know I don't have my audience. I had people bagging out on me for like the last week here. Instead of receiving a zero for my speech, the work I put into it, I'd rather give you what I have the best way I can. Um, it didn't start off with the headphones and all that, but when I was trying to record earlier without this on, you couldn't hear my voice. I did it about 5 times for some reason. The volume level on my computer was not loud enough for me to even hear it, so I didn't want to deliver to you in that way. So I had to put something on to help me out. You can hear me out a little better. Uh, my surroundings are just what you see. There's nothing around me, nothing beside me. It's just pretty much me and my computer, my laptop, my note cards. Alright, so once again, I'm sorry for this. I tried to do my speech down at Hines. I know that enough people didn't choose that option. That's why we couldn't do it. But uh, I put the work into my speech. I put the work into my outlines all myself with no help. And instead of receiving a zero, I'm giving the best I have right now. I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about the inconvenience. Once again, hello, my name is Dewan Chandler. I come to you today to tell you about a great civil rights leader named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. left behind a legacy so great that today's people refer to him as a great civil rights leader. I spent a lot of time researching Dr. Martin Luther King. My research shows in detail the great works in which everyone speaks. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. became a well-known man across the world because of his influences of the church, his intellectual curiosity, and his study of religion and philosophy at Morehouse College. But despite these great things, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was still a victim of hate. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was first known for his passion of the church. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. grew up under strong influences of the church and a family tradition of independence. A quote from Thomas R. Peake in his book Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was devoted to the nonviolent method towards racial discrimination. A second quote from Thomas R. Peake was as the Kings moved to a city that was once the capital of Confederacy, they believed that God was moving them into an important future. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a passion for speaking using his words as power instead of weapons. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. enjoyed sports and studies at a young age. He was very athletic and intellectually curious. He was able to skip 2 grades, entering Morehouse College at only the age of 15. Man, he was young. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a spiritual mentor for the youth and organizing for social change. He was a very patient man. He enjoyed competitive games as well as words and ideas. Dr. MLK was had, was intellectually curious, had a passion for church and independence, which prepared him for his approach as a leader as he studied religion. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. studied religion and philosophy at Morehouse College. King became a great advocate for the nonviolent resistance to racial discrimination. Although King endured much verbal, physical, and mental abuse, he still stood up for non-violence towards racial discrimination. Dr. MLK was not only a very smart young man, but also a pastor and a great leader. King's critical speaking led us to the 1964 Civil Rights Act and 1965 Voting Rights Act, which is still effective today. Dr. Martin Luther King's religion and philosophy helped him in his move to change lives. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. changed many lives but was still a victim of hate. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by James Earl Ray on April 4th, 1968, in his move to Washington to help poor families of all races. Since his death, people across the world have begun to apply his leadership, bringing all races and cultures to a meeting point. Dr. Martin Luther King has left behind great reconstruction also for families whom were living in poverty. Martin Luther King Jr. saved and changed many lives but was still hated and killed by a racist individual. Thomas R. Pete gave great insight in his book, gave great insight on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s early life in his book, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Another author who gave great insight on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was uh, was Brooke Rose in her book 50 Years Later, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. grew up with influences from the church, was intellectually curious, and studied religion and philosophy at Morehouse College at the age of 15. But despite these things, he was still a victim of hate. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man of many roles. He was an active member and leader of his church, active in the movement of helping oppressed people, and a great civil rights leader until his assassination in 1968. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will forever be remembered for the great impact he set forth on people's life and our country. Thank you.